back roads and open spaces, connecting the Greenbelt networks. Borough President Otto asked, "How do we connect the Greenbelt and do right by Staten Island?" That's how this fresh look at the mapped parkways began. In the past, there have been many different conversations about the Greenbelt and the mapped parkways. Here are a few of the past articles addressing the concerns. The Staten Island Advance editorial summed it up best. "The real boogeyman in our midst now is traffic. No new highway will solve that growing problem, but more modest improvements on key thoroughfares and at critical intersections can help." The editors concluded that demapping, at that time, would have precluded key local road enhancements. As we continue to study this issue, it has become apparent that connecting the Greenbelt is easy. It's doing right by Staten Island that's the hard part. This presentation is about back roads and open spaces. This is the synergy that has historically coexisted within the Greenbelt. This illustrates the corridors of many popular retail destinations. On the left, Richmond Avenue supports many regional retailers like Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, DSW Warehouse, and the Staten Island Mall, which is home to Macy's, JCPenney, and Sears. On the right, Highland Boulevard supports an eastern retail corridor anchored by Kmart and Stop & Shop. The red route on the map indicates the location of one of the borough's original back roads, known as Rockland Avenue. This route is shown from Richmond Road to Forest Hill Road. The user populations from the south, west, and east have few alternatives when traversing the island. For that reason, Rockland Avenue has evolved into a primary route for more than 250,000 residents. Today, our back roads support a huge volume of traffic. Intersections along the back road corridor support as many as 115,000 vehicles daily. That's how it is now, but it wasn't always that way. If you're an original Staten Islander, you remember when you used to take the back roads to go to the airport along Richmond Avenue to fly model airplanes. The airport was also located next to the city's first drive-in movie theater. Folklore has it that the airport was actually forced to close at 7:30 so air traffic didn't interfere with the movies. The lesson learned is that for decades, Staten Islanders have coexisted, living, working, and recreating in, around, and through the Greenbelt. The Staten Island Greenbelt is a compilation of state, city, and privately owned properties that comprise a network of parks, country roads, private residences, public and private community facilities, and vast open spaces. Contiguous natural areas include Deer Park, the unbuilt Richmond Parkway, High Rock Park, the unbuilt Willowbrook Parkway, Bloodroot Valley, La Tourette Park, Willowbrook Park, Fresh Kills Park, and the William T. Davis Wildlife Refuge. These natural areas also contain designated freshwater wetlands. Contiguous developed areas include St. Francis Seminary, Susan E. Wagner High School, Egger Healthcare Center, Seaview Hospital Rehabilitation Center and Home, New York City Farm Colony, and the East Shore Little League. In the early 1960s, Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority Chairman Robert Moses proposed a plan for the Richmond Parkway, connecting Brooklyn with New Jersey via the soon-to-be-opened Verrazano Narrows Bridge. The Parkway plan also included the Willowbrook Parkway, which shared an interchange from the Richmond Parkway. For many reasons, most importantly, the Greenbelt, the Parkway plans never moved forward. There was widespread public opposition from those neighborhoods that would be disrupted or displaced, and due to the negative effects the road system would have to the Greenbelt. As the Staten Island Expressway connection was established, the New Springville Farms and local airports and theater were redeveloped into a new retail corridor. That corridor included E.J. Corvettes and the Staten Island Mall. It seemed then that the entire Mid-Island, all 90,000 of them in mid-1960s numbers, were suddenly driving on Rockland Avenue. Well, that really wasn't the case. Realistically, it was easier to get to the shopping areas from Newdorp or Highland Boulevard by enjoying a ride through the back roads. Thankfully, in 1985, the Richmond County Country Club set aside $1 million to establish an endowment for the Greenbelt Conservancy. The Conservancy has worked tirelessly to promote, sustain, and enhance the Greenbelt. Borough President Otto understands that demapping the parkways will increase parkland and open space and build back redundancy and safety into the back road network that islanders have utilized for decades. In the 1970s, the back roads were our redundant transportation alternative. Today, the back roads have become a primary route for people traveling to many different destinations. This shows the grim reality. So as each neighborhood became denser, more local people depended on the back road network to traverse the Greenbelt. It is important to note that the daily demand on the existing back road network that provides access to existing developed properties throughout the Greenbelt increases every year. This demand can be smartly addressed by making modest revisions to the existing back roads. These revisions can more readily direct vehicles to their destinations. Back road modifications will reduce vehicle queues, which will assist in mitigating environmental, health, and economic impacts associated with high amounts of nitrogen oxides, volatile organic compounds, soot, and carbon monoxide. Reducing this unnecessary roadside air pollution will decrease the increasing risk of health problems for local residents and unnecessary adverse impacts on the surrounding natural resources. Reevaluating the synergies between the developed and undeveloped Greenbelt areas and the meandering back road network can also provide direct access routes to repurposed existing facilities like New York City Farm Colony and proposed senior housing at Seaview. These photos depict our back road system today. The Richmond and Willowbrook Parkway mappings bisect the Greenbelt. This slide identifies the location of the mapped parkways in orange. There are also many existing streets that are open and traveled, connecting the southern user population with the northeastern retail corridor. The Richmond Parkway mapping connects to the Willowbrook Parkway Exchange after bisecting the intersection of Toad Hill Road and Ocean Terrace, one of the highest points on the eastern seaboard, and the 143-acre William H. Pouch Boy Scout Camp, New York City's only Boy Scout camp. The borough president believes that with our state colleagues, he can finally deliver on the demapping of the Richmond and Willowbrook Parkways by increasing parkland, open space, and safety on the back roads that Staten Islanders have relied on for decades. So what are the safety concerns? Let's take a look. The top left photo identifies a typical bus stop along the back road system. There are no curbs, flat work, or drainage provided. Pedestrians stand in a loamy soil hoping to stay clear of straying vehicles. The top right photo illustrates what happens when the queue going to the mall gets too long. Notice the vehicle driving on the wrong side of the road to hopefully make a left turn at the intersection. The bottom photos show another issue that directly affects emergency response times. The ambulance driver and patient on the left had no choice but to wait in the back road queue. There truly is no other option on today's back road system. The tower ladder in this photo was thankfully not responding to an emergency. This scenario unfolded with a full school bus waiting for a red light at the intersection. The fire truck was turning onto the Rockland Avenue back road at Manor Road, but could not make the turn. The bus driver elected to turn on his flashing lights and proceed into the intersection, against the traffic signal, to give the engine enough room to negotiate the turn. This situation put the children, occupants of approaching vehicles, firefighters, and the photographer in uncertain danger. This proposal focuses on the Rockland Avenue corridor from Richmond Road to Forest Hill Road, shown here in purple, and the existing intersection of Toad Hill Road and Ocean Terrace, shown in the insert. The mapped road network consists of Rockland Avenue, Forest Hill Road, Brielle Avenue, and Manor Road. The orange area identifies the parkway mapping. The green illustrates portions of the Greenbelt or mapped parkland. The back road network consists of the Rockland Avenue back road, shown here in red, which you can see is different than the mapped Rockland Avenue, shadowed in purple. Also note that the Manor Road back road, shown here in red, is also different than the mapped Manor Road, shadowed in purple. This represents the back road system that has evolved into a cross-island transportation network. This system is virtually the only east-west connector available to user populations located east, west, and south. This proposal consists of 4 intersection safety improvements, identified by the yellow dots and connected by Rockland Avenue, 2 bypass connections, and the realignment of an existing dangerous curve along Rockland Avenue. In addition to increasing back road safety, these improvements will provide new turning bays and drainage facilities to address ponding and icing conditions. Now let's take a closer look at each improvement. The realignment of the dangerous curve along Rockland Avenue will increase safety along the back roads. The blue line on the sketch and aerial photo indicates the location of the new back road. The area where the existing curve is located would be reverted back to green space within La Tourette Park. This improvement will also move the roadbed further from the existing ravine and watercourses. The intersection at Manor Road supports more than 19,000 vehicles daily. The school bus and fire engine previously shown were at this intersection. This location is also subjected to continuous ponding and winter icing. The improvement would include providing turning bays as required and improving storm drainage facilities. On the southern sector of the system, Islanders experience huge traffic queues along Rockland Avenue in both directions. Traffic backs up from Manor Road to Richmond Road during peak and off-peak hours. This improvement would build redundancy into the system. The redundancy can be achieved by allowing drivers to go in the direction they want to travel. Currently, drivers heading to Richmond Town, Newdorp, Oakwood, or to either local hospital, like the ambulance previously shown, must process through the intersection at Rockland Avenue and Richmond Road. It is proposed to provide a new back road alternative utilizing the Nadine Street bypass. This bypass, shown in blue, will separate vehicles and allow drivers to move in the direction they want to travel. The Nadine bypass will directly connect vehicles heading to Richmond Town and Great Kills via the western leg of Richmond Road, and vehicles heading to Oakwood via Rydell Avenue from the current volume heading toward Newdorp or points east via the existing Rockland Avenue and Richmond Road intersection. This improvement will increase the quality of life for residents living in the Richmond Town enclave nestled between Richmond Road and Rockland Avenue at the foot of Lighthouse Hill. For years, drivers have invaded this community searching for shortcuts to other island neighborhoods. Brielle Avenue provides access to the Greenbelt Nature Center, the Greenbelt Rec Center, baseball and soccer venues, Seaview Hospital, Seaview Senior Housing, and will also be a major access road for the newly imagined landmark colony at the New York City Farm Colony. The improvement will include a continuous merge from Brielle Avenue to Rockland Avenue for drivers heading to the Staten Island Mall and points west. This improvement will increase lane capacity at the intersection and clearly delineate directions of travel. The Eastman Avenue bypass will build in redundancy to the northern sector of the system. The bypass, animated in blue, will separate drivers heading to the Staten Island Expressway and the College of Staten Island from vehicles heading to the retail corridors along Richmond Avenue. This improvement will remove vehicles heading northeast toward the expressway before they reach the intersection of Rockland and Brielle Avenues. This improvement will balance the more than 21,000 vehicles that process through the Forest Hill Road and Rockland Avenue intersection on a daily basis. To better illustrate the redundancy in the system created by the Eastman Avenue bypass, we have zoomed out to show you a larger neighborhood area. The bypass will move people in the direction that they want to go. It will separate retail corridor traffic from College and Expressway traffic even before reaching Rockland Avenue. There may also be future opportunities to provide access to the college and increase the facilities at the new Springville Little League through mitigation. The intersection of Toad Hill Road and Ocean Terrace lies completely within the mapped parkway. This is an opportunity to provide additional turning bays and capacity in each direction. These improvements will improve throughput and increase the quality of life for those residents living in close proximity to each back road. The benefits include demapping portions of the Richmond and Willowbrook Parkways, increasing parkland and open space, creating a safer back road corridor, moving people in the direction they want to go, and establishing a land mitigation bank for New York State DOT. Preliminary cost analysis breakdowns are estimated at $65 million. Actionable steps are currently being reviewed by state and local officials and involved agencies. This is what we see at 5,000 feet. This is the beauty of the Greenbelt. And this is what Borough President Otto wants to preserve. But this is what is really happening on a daily basis under that tree canopy. And these are the conditions that must be addressed to ensure the continuation of that synergy between our back roads and open spaces. Connecting the Greenbelt is easy. It's doing right by Staten Island that's the hard part. To be successful, we must also increase safety and include new choices on the back roads that Staten Islanders have relied on for decades.